Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. So, yesterday I did a video. I, was, I quoted and I shared from Frank Metzner because I thought his words were insightful. And my video's been viewed a lot and it's been shared. And there's been a lot of comments from other convention runners, and they get valid points, so I'm going to try to cover some of them. But I'm going to start out with I think the solution to all of this confusion on occasions is transparency. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you are running a convention and you are inviting guests, special guests, media personalities, whatever you want to call them, you need to tell them what the benefits are. Spell it out. If they're just getting a badge, great. If they're getting a badge and access to a snack room, great. But you got to let them know where that room is. Um, if they are not going to be, you got to cover. Hey, listen, we are or we aren't covering your accommodations. You gotta, because the thing is, there is often an assumption, for right or for wrong, that when you're invited as a special guest, especially to a larger convention, that being a special guest includes accommodations. Especially when maybe they're asking for you to run, I don't know. As an example, if you're being asked to run 12 hours of games, seminars, lectures, whatever, for a badge, that's just being a GM would get that at a lot of cons, right? So really, what is the perk of being a special guest? So if you aren't offering rooms, your guests should know. Now, my wife Rach would be like, well, there could be like a tiered based upon need, certainly, but you still have to spell it out. You can't just say, hey, you're invited, and you know, as a guest, you show up and you're like, hey, yeah, John Smith. I'm from the Everybody Knows Raymond YouTube channel. And hey, I'm here to get my room pass. There's no room for me, and the hotel's sold out. Right? But now that listen, that responsibility goes two ways, right? When you are a guest at a convention, you're invited to be a guest. You have to ask, what are my responsibilities? What do you need from me? So you know going in, hey, listen, they want 12 hours from me over the course of 3 days. I don't have it in me. You can tell them, you don't, go I'm going to ghost at the end. That's not fair. But let them know. Listen, whatever. I run a table. I'm here also to sell. Can you give me a gaming table in front of my booth so you can do both at the same time? There's things that are negotiable, but you got to clear that up before the convention. Now, I think Jeff Talanian brought up a good point about expectations with a small con. And listen, to me, a small con is, I don't know, 300 or less attendees over the course of 2 to 3 days. That's a small con. Um, if I'm going and I'm invited as a guest, I'm going to probably get a badge. May or may not get a room. If I do, that's great, but I need to know ahead of time. I'm not going to show up and suddenly go, oh, no room. Oh. You got to work that out. But my expectations and two small cons, Central New York Con and WizardCon, went beyond my expectations. They supplied a room. Awesome. ShireCon is a very small con, about 125, 150 people. It's at a VFW. There's no expectations that I'm going to be, I don't know. I don't know if the VFW has a crib. There's no expectations that I'm going to be sleeping at the VFW. I got to get my own accommodations. That's understood. But if it was being held at a hotel, the organizer should say, hey, listen, your invite includes a badge, a shirt, some swag. We don't have a budget for accommodations. Right. Medium size con. Medium size is whatever, 500 to 1,000. Some people would say 1,200. These numbers aren't precise. This isn't a precise industry when it comes to this. Jeff was like, medium con, he expects a room. He expects his going to cover his own travel. Large conventions, a couple of thousand, he expects a room and travel. Now, hey, TotalCon is probably borderline medium large, but when they uh, brought Don Samora as a special guest, as a media guest, Don got not just a room, they flew him and his wife in. That's awesome. Not every con can do that, and I understand that, but he knew going into it, hey, these are the perks you get. Transparency. What do you expect from your guests? What are your guests to expect from you? Listen, are there screw ups? Are there miscommunications? Certainly. My suggestion, and I've talked to other con organizers, is if you are being invited as a guest to a con, get the responsibilities, your responsibilities, and the con's responsibilities in writing. It's as simple as an email. In the email, we are going to supply you with a room. You will have to make your own way here. We will have a snack and beverage room available. We expect you to run a 3 to 4 hour session of whatever RPG for all three of the con days. If there's any issues, let us know. You know then, right? So you know what to submit. You know what your expectations are. And I think this is about also expectations. All right? EggCon is a small convention in July in Lake Geneva, height of the tourist season. The hotels there aren't looking to give away rooms. You're lucky you can get a room block. And even that room block is probably not going to be highly discounted like an off-season room block would be. I wouldn't expect a small convention in that situation to be offered a room if I was invited as a guest. Not going to be in their budget. But what can a small con offer in lieu of? Well, they could offer often a vending table, right? Now, I don't vend, so for me, that doesn't do any good. You offer me a vending table, thank you very much. This is going to be a place for me to sit behind when I'm not doing stuff in my own personal space. I don't know. But if you are going to a convention as a special guest and as a vendor, your vending aspect can often cover much of your travel expenses, much of your housing expenses. So there's a different dynamic, right? If you're going to a convention as a retailer, as a publisher, your expectations are different. But at the same time, if you go in there as a retailer or a publisher and as a special guest, are you going to be able to, I don't know, run games? Running games means you're not at your table. You're not at your table, you're not making money. There's this whole big balancing act that has to get played out. I don't have exact answers. I do know that transparency and spelling out the expectations going both ways is a huge part of this. And then there are some conventions that are a bit more opaque about what you get as a special guest and what you get as what your responsibilities are. I think we need to do away with that opaqueness. I think we need to be transparent. I think we need to be clear. Then there's no false expectations. Hey, I was invited to ABC Con, and ABC Con is offering me a badge and a table. That's it. Well, if I'm a vendor, I'm a publisher. Maybe that's all I need. Maybe that table is worth $500 normally. So that's a great deal. All right, so they're offering me ABC Con is offering me a room and a badge. Well, now my expenses are much less, and maybe I'm more likely to say yes. Because it all comes down to expenses too, right? I mean, people, the average gamer goes to, if at all, 1 to 2 cons a year. When you're invited as a guest, you're expected to go to more cons a year because you're invited. But there's expenses involved in all that stuff. This isn't free, you know. So again, transparency, spell it out. What are you offering? What are you expecting? And then you do away with 99% of any of these issues. Folks, tell me what you think. I know somebody's gonna go, well, yeah, what are you bitching about? You're getting a free badge. You should enjoy it. Yeah, well, no, I get a free badge to a convention, and I got to pay a hotel and travel. Now I'm talking what, $1,000 plus food costs. It's not free, and budgeting becomes part of it. It's part of the equation. And I'm going to address another thing. Do special guests really add to a convention? You know what? For some attendees, they do. Some attendees want to see Frank and Tim and Jeff and Greg and Heidi, and the list goes on. Some couldn't give a flying F. They'll be like, I just want to play games. So if you're a convention organizer, you got to balance that out too. You can't have every special guest and like fill up on the slot bingo card and start going, we got all the special guests in the world. It doesn't work that way. It can't work that way. It just can't. So tell me what you think. Do you think that special guests add to the appeal of a convention? Do you think that they aren't needed? I mean, I don't know what the answer is. Um, I do know that me personally, I like going to conventions to socialize. I like meeting people from the gaming community. I like to renew ties with people that I've known for years, creatives from the old guard, the new guard, lurkers from this channel. I just like to meet people, which is strange because I was a shy young child when I was a wee lad. But I like to meet people. That's why I go to conventions. And I like to run games because I get to meet people at the table and get to bond over the course of 3 or 4 hours. Why do you go to conventions? Why do you not go to conventions? Right? Do special guests mean anything to you? Are you one of those people that collects signatures? Some people do. I don't. I probably kick myself when I'm, you know, about to pass on and go, I could have had all these signatures of all these people and all these. I have the memories. I don't need the signatures. But some people do. Tell me what you think. If nothing else, this is your channel. Right? I try to bring up issues and topics that I think are important or newsworthy. I think this is important. Folks, as always, be safe, be well, God bless, world is nice. A world and well. Catch you all on the flip side. Oh, and if you want to get these videos a little bit earlier, you can become a member for as little as $1.99. Your support makes this channel great. Like, subscribe, comment, you know the thing. Later.